All right. My name is Chapel. I'm one of the Cameo DMs. Uh, that I run games for the Unnamed Adventuring Guild. This is the campaign Pantheway, exploring some. And anybody that does watch or has watched, that we are exploring the continent to the far left. I mean, far right of the map of Airwood.
The Wap of Everywood.
The map of Airwood. Um, so I'll have everybody introduce themselves. Alex, number two. You go ahead and.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex Blanco, also known as Alex Number 2, and I will be playing Princess Paloma Windrunner. She is a Aragonasi wind monk. Yeah, wind monk? Okay, sure. Monk of the Four Elements. Um, and yeah, she's very naive, very spunky, very energetic. Yeah, she stumbled along these guys a few weeks ago. Well, now a few months ago, right? Because we're in the future, right?
That's right.
Oh shit. Okay, well, a while ago, and yeah, she's just been making new friends, wanted to explore, wanted to adventure, and yeah.
All right. Alex, number one.
Hi, I'm Alex number 1. I will be playing Orn Faithus, a devotion paladin and divine soul of Bahamut. And he's the self-proclaimed leader trying to advance the party to face against the Smurg. And he's just trying to get support for his party so that they can figure out where to move on to next and figure out where to go.
And let's see, we have Brendan.
I'm Brendan. I'll be playing Rusty Rustling Leaves, the Kenku Rogue. Over the past couple weeks, while everyone's been doing their various things, Rusty has made a disturbing revelation and doesn't know what to do with it.
All right. And now we have Cindy.
Hey, my name is Sandra. I'm going to be playing Yuna. She is freshly engaged. And yeah, she is a protector Asmar and a cleric of light. And she has ordered just horses, like 2 riding horses. They might be in. She doesn't know yet. That would be great. And yeah, that is basically all. Her dream is that she would eventually grow like real wings.
Very cool. All right. So since we are back in action, it's been about 2 weeks. Everybody's done a little bit of everything. Your guys' weapons are back from being crafted.
Indeed, they are. I have my Amenethar longsword and Amenethar lance, as well as my 2 rings.
Right.
And I think that's the only thing I had made.
Right, I believe so. All right. So
Oh, and also, like, during that time, like, during those 2 months, I said, I wrote that down, that I was gonna get, like, I was working for the city guard, and it's at the same time training with the longsword to get proficient in that. Would that be now?
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay. So that's right. You did learn about the curse, didn't you? All right. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting back from class, getting my brain together. So it's morning time. A couple days after the puppy festival that you guys had. And you got your weapon, you got your training. Rusty has done what he's been doing. And it's morning time, and Herschel shows up. He's like, says you have an appointment at the palace that I set up. There's some individuals that you need to meet.
Oh wait, so like the big palace, like the big castle that we've been staring at this entire time?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, I'm excited.
You should be. He says, but you guys need to dress well, better than you're dressing right now. So, come on, we got to go and buy you guys some better clothes. Unless you're going to show up in your armor, that's acceptable.
Yuna, do you know what this means?
What does that mean?
It's another shopping montage! And she'll run out the door.
You just kind of screamed in my ear there. Yes, okay. Let's go shopping, I guess.
Rusty, are you downstairs cooking?
Depends on what time it is. If it's any time after breakfast, then no, Rusty isn't cooking.
Okay. I would say it's probably
He only cooks. He would basically be basking in the in people's enjoyment of his cooking, but he has been a little reticent the last few days.
Okay. So it's Herschel notices Rusty's kind of demeanor. He's like, "What's going on, Birdman?"
Rusty will just kind of, wave him away and try and he's making what enjoyment he can, but he seems like he's really down.
He's like, "Come here," and he walks off to the side. He's like, "What's going on?"
Rusty learned.
Learned what?
And then he'll say, Rusty learned, and then you'll hear the word curse, and it sounds like there's magical power behind it, and but it also kind of sounds like it's been like a tape that's been recorded over and over and over, like it's been copied, and so it's lost just a touch of the clarity, but there's still power behind it.
Okay. He says, I don't know much about your people. Does this has to do with your people, your kind?
He'll just nod.
He says, okay. He says, well, I believe one of the people you're going to meet today might be able to shine some light on that for you. He says, but I need you to prune your feathers and look your best for me, okay?
He'll sigh and then put on a happy face, and do his best.
All right. So, anything you guys want to take with you, grab. You guys are heading out to the palace with a stop by the market.
Okay. Gonna leave my chest behind.
All right.
I'm gonna keep my belt pouch on me. And I would probably just go in my armor.
Okay.
Because my armor is pretty fucking rad looking. It's adamantine magical +1 armor. I'm gonna wear it.
All right. Plomo's already gone downstairs. I believe.
Almost like almost a block away.
All right. You hear a message, like a magical message. Paloma, this is Herschel. I need you back here. We're gonna go together. We're gonna go shopping, but together.
You hear a sigh. Just, you're no fun. She'll just slouch and just walk back.
Plus, I have the money. So
Oh, well, I mean, I've got money too.
he's like, "Come on, come back.
Fine.
Meet us in the bottom. Meet us in the outside the front of the inn." So everybody gets whatever they're gonna get. You head out. We meet Paloma in the front of the building, and we head out towards some of the more posh areas. And Herschel forks out a good 100 gold pieces for a nice piece of clothing for each one of them. For Paloma. I don't know what Sandy's going to wear. Are you going to go in a dress or something, or are you going in your armor?
Where are we going to?
The palace.
Well, then I would probably wear like some sort of like ceremonial looking dress over my armor.
Over it?
Yes, because I have mithril armor. So
You could just go in your armor if you want.
Yeah, well, I would have like some like 1 or 2 scarves around it to not look like that combat ready, like make it like not as how do you call that, barbaric looking.
So you get some really nice silk scarves and stuff and other little things to spice up your armor from the same place that Paloma gets her a dress or whatever she chooses. But whatever you choose, it is really nice. It's all made of silk. Almost feels like you have nothing on, Paloma.
Just a lot of chiffon. It's a lot of flowy fabric.
Yeah. It's so light and it feels like kind of whiffs of clouds on you.
Just gonna play with it as we walk there.
Yeah. Rusty, you content with what you wearing, buddy? You want some nicer stuff?
Rusty kind of looks at his clothes. They're not. It's himself and kind of dusts it off a little bit and affirm.
He says, that's not gonna do, buddy. He says, come on. So he takes you to a little high-end like armor shop. And he finds you a pretty nice set of whatever you're wearing. He says, how about this? And it's the same thing you have, just it looks brand new and looks sharp on you.
While you're doing that, he's kind of eyeing the nice studded leather next to it.
He says, "You want that instead?" He's like, "Grab it." He tells the dude, he's like, "Hey, I need this fitted pronto." He's going to the palace, and the wolfman behind the counter, he's like, "Oh, sir." So he goes down and starts taking measurements and stuff like that. And he says, "Give me about 10 minutes. I think I can get this fitted to him pretty easy." So within about 15 minutes, he comes back. You try it on. It's like impeccable fit. He says, "I have some foot bindies for your feet that could work if you want, because you have bird feet. So, but if you're good with what you, it's basically kind of like
He kind of turns his head back and forth, and he'll give it a try. He kind of waves it over.
Okay, so they're just basically kind of like if you could think of like World War One, where they had like those bindings around their boots, kind of like that. But
yeah,
you good with that?
Yeah, I know.
And they'd be made out of studded leather, so got some shiny metal on it and stuff. So you guys are looking pretty good. So he says, "All right, well, let's head out." So you guys come out of the shop. He whistles, and a palanquin rolls up, one that will fit all four of you and him in it. And he pays the driver, and you guys take off towards the palace. And within about 15, 20 minutes, you guys arrive in front of the palace. So, in front of the palace, of course, there's guards and stuff like that, but they're in like full plate wolfen mail. They're got like these really long spears and shit that, and any one of you that can detect magic, you can definitely tell their armor is imbued with strong magics. So there's four of them sitting up front, and they are. One of them steps up and he says, "Herschel," he says, "These four are here for the banquet." He says, "Okay."
Herschel, you didn't tell us it was a banquet.
He says, "Hey, I told you guys needed to be decked out."
Cool.
So
sorry. Go ahead.
he says, "Yeah." He says, "Okay, well, head in." Excuse me. He says, "Any weapons that are not ceremonial need to be checked in the armory." He says, "You'll get them back." He says, "All right." So you guys head in. Palace is humongous, of course, if you can imagine. Since this is like a city state, it is at least about 8 stories high. You see just white marble, and you see decorations lining the hallways of jade and another kind of vases and other stuff. And you actually see some art that looks like it might be from Illumina and some other parts out that way, since you guys have been there maybe once or twice. And Paloma, you see some art that looks like is of Ergensai tradition stuff. Looks some that looks pretty old in there. And so you guys get down the hallway, and you see there's people, and there's wolfins, of course, and beautiful armor and beautiful clothes and stuff. And you see some other races mixed in here, some elves and some dwarves, a few humans mingling here and there. And you get to the entranceway, and this one wolfen steps up in this long green robe. He says, Herschel. He says, yes, Gerald. These are the four that are here to meet the regent. He says, He says, okay. He pulls out four, like these brooches. He says, please place these on your person. He says, these will announce you as a special guest of Herschel and the regent. And it's just a little insignia. It's like a family crest, kind of, sort of. He says, go right in. So you guys head in, and, of course, the bingo hall is fucking just ginormous. There's probably a good 300-400 beans in here. And, hold on one second.
As we're walking, I'm just gonna go up to Orn and I'm just gonna whisper to him, wow, this is all so exciting! Have you been in front of royalty like this before? Does, like, Bahamut have, like, a big castle like this one?
Oh, Bahamut doesn't own a castle, though I once used to own a castle, and I used to be royalty in some places.
You did? Orn, I'm learning so many things about you every day! It's like opening a new book every day.
Yes, I wasn't actually royalty, but I was treated as such.
You had a castle. It counts.
It was designed like a castle, but we didn't call it that.
It's a castle. Fort Castle, what's the difference, eh?
It was a guild, and we used it as a base of operations for fighting Draconians.
Oh. Draconians? You mean Dragonborn?
No.
Or like
Dragonborn.
just dragons.
Oh.
Okay, I'm back.
I don't know these things.
That's a tough one to explain.
Okay.
Draconians are more closely related to dragons. They are scaly like dragonborns, but they can fly and have their dragon breaths immediately. But they're also wholeheartedly evil and servants of Tiamat.
So they're bad dragonborn?
That can fly and breathe fire.
Oh. So like more
Rusty
cool
will tap you on the
dragonborn.
shoulder. Rusty will tap Orin on the shoulder and go and make the sound of draconian blowing up.
Yeah.
Like that?
Yeah. Something like that.
Good job, Rusty. And I high five him.
Try to avoid using noises like that. Don't want to upset the guards.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Now you guys, there's guards placed around the room, but they're kind of dressed down for the event. You see the bigger ones with the ceremonial armor are more towards the entrances to the room. So you see just a shit ton of different races in here. You see, like I said, see just a little bit of everything. You even see some Dro, and the city. And Herschel's like, says, I know there's a lot of races in here that some of you may have met before and may not like and whatnot. He says, but they've all come here for a singular reason, and he says that happens to be the Smurg. He says the
And we're the
Smurg is
stars of
named.
the show for the most part.
What did it say?
So we're the suckers for the job for the most part.
He says, well, not necessarily. It's more of trying to find what support that's going to be lent towards this quest. That being is immensely powerful, so of course you're going to need help, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, I mean, we won't be alone, right? Fighting this?
He says, well, I don't know, because you just don't know the future. I don't know if he's going to show up.
But Herschel, you know everything and everyone.
He says, I don't know everything. He says, I get a lot of my information from other people too, including little goblins and other people. He says, he says, well, I'll tell you that later. He says, come, there's the regent. So you guys are walking, and he brings you over to this wolf, and looks, his fur is gray and white, but you see there's more flecks of gray, or more flecks of white in his gray fur, showing his age. He says, Herschel. He says, yes, Regent. He says, these are the four that I was talking to you about. He says, He says, let me introduce him. He says, this is Orn Faithus. This is Sergeant Una.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, Sergeant
I
Una.
thought you were just going like in a row. Okay.
No,
Sorry.
he says, this is Sergeant Una Protego. This is Princess Paloma Windrunner from the Ergensai to the east. He says,
I give a really grandiose bow, just like Papa Tot.
He gives you a bow also. He says, well met, Princess. And he says, this is Rustling Leaves, which they call him Rusty. He says, Kenku. He says, we don't see many of your kind.
Rusty
here.
Rusty will imitate Princess Paloma with the big elaborate bow.
Okay. He chuckles and he bows to you too. He says, good job. He says, well, as you know, now you know I'm the regent. And my job as regent affords me certain responsibilities. This meeting here is kind of for you in a way. He says, we are mustering people from the area, powerful allies, so that we can fight the Smurg. That being has not seen the light of day for a very long time, and we had hoped he would never show again. Well, here he is. Well, he's not here, but you know what I mean.
He's here!
He turns around, so the Smurg turns around with a ponytail and a little bow in his hair. He's like, hello.
Hi, everybody. How you doing today?
He looks like Skeletor now. No, I was playing. But he says, but there's a lot of powerful players here that will lend you aid to some degree. He says, so that's where we're at.
Can I look around, just see who I see so far? Anyone that looks like adventuring type, kinda?
Yeah. So you see a contingent of dwarves. One wearing a crown. Probably the most regal and huge dwarf you've ever seen. He is brandished in probably some of the most exquisite and badass looking mithril armor that you've seen.
He's so wide.
Yeah, he's just huge, and he's over there talking to the rest of his dwarven friends, and he says that is King Bronzebeard. This is he has a citadel to the south. Him and his dwarves supply our city with a lot of the mithril and other metals. He says over there, he points, and there's a contingent of elves, of different types of elves. There's some wood elves and high elves and stuff, and they're all kind of talking and stuff, but they're dressed in immaculate robes and stuff like that. And one of them in particular is wearing some real fine, like mithril chain that looks like it's just tailored to his body. And he's wearing this just gorgeous ass fucking longsword on his hip with jewels in it and stuff. And you can see that thing is like freaking bright with magic. They nod at you guys. And exactly across the way from them is a contingent of Dro, along with some Durgar, and a little bit to the left of them is a contingent of deep gnomes. All the Underdark folk kind of tend to stick to one area. And so you see in another space, you see a group of a Krokra, the wind. You know what they are. They're like from the wind.
Birds.
Yeah, they're the huge birds. And you know that they're from the elemental plane of air. And they're over there standing with their spears. Every once in a while, you see one of them, like, their wings flap and lift them off the air, almost like they just feel uncomfortable on their feet. They want to soar. You can just tell because they keep looking at the windows.
Let me fly, damn it.
Yeah. And you see a contingent of Goliaths and Furbolg over to the side. And they're just huge. So you see a varying amount of different people. And you see, if anybody's met Hanzo, you see Hanzo sitting over there in some ceremonial samurai armor, along with a couple other people that you notice from the palace and Lord Kage. If you've ever met him, you see him, and he's wearing some ceremonial armor also. It looks badass on them, because they're just imposing.
Is Kukuna there?
Yeah, Kukuna actually. She kind of sitting by herself in a table not too far, looking uncomfortable.
Yes.
I'll go over to Yuna and I'll just point out. I'll just be like, Yuna, there's Hanzo, remember him?
He sees you guys and he walks over. He gives you a deep bow. He says, "Ha! Paloma, Yuna." He looks to Orin. He's like, "Orin."
Dale.
Oh, Hanzo, you haven't met our friend yet. And I'll put my arms out presentingly over to Rusty and I'll be like, "This is Rustling Leaves, also known as Rusty."
He walks over. He bows to Rusty.
Yeah.
The Kenku
Again,
have their
bow
own,
just like Paloma.
yeah. Do Kenku have their own language?
Like Orin.
Like bird people language. Or the
Yeah.
primordial.
Do you guys have your own language?
No, they speak Orin.
Ah, okay.
The
He speaks.
primordial air.
He puts on his helmet and he speaks to an oar and he says, "Hello, how are you? You seem distant and out of place here, my little friend."
Nods and kind of just he is out of place.
All right. He says, he looks over at the Akroka and he says, "You miss that, don't you?" He says, because he notices that you watch them as they kind of flap in the air every once in a while. Their wingspan is huge, but they look beautiful because they look like eagles, so of course. He says,
Rusty looks
go ahead.
at them wistfully and Rusty looks at them wistfully and says, "I'm a different choice."
Yeah. He says, well, maybe one day, my little friend, you'll be able to soar like them. And he takes his helmet off and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Rusty kind of glances, but could have been, and then pays attention again.
He says, well, Lord Kage is looking my way. I must rejoin him. He says, it's good to see you all. He says, I'll talk to you again soon. Or maybe fight next to you. He bows again.
You can do that.
Yeah. He bows again and he takes his leave. He goes back over to Lord Kage. Herschel had stepped away real quick. And he walks back over with a human. An older looking gentleman with a sword on his hip, smoking a pipe. And he says, this, my friends, is, I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He says, Herschel, so I can introduce myself. He says, hello. He says, my name is Elminster. He says,
how do you spell that? He's typing it
phonetically.
Elminster. Yeah, I got Elminster. Oh, Elminster. Okay, I was.
He says, I am chosen a Mistra. He says, I've been summoned here by a certain friend of ours. He says, so you woke up the Smurg, huh?
Well, I didn't. They did.
Thanks. Yes, it was more of an accident, but we were told to go where we were told to, and destiny has taken us where it's meant us to go.
He says, well, so you're looking at this dude and just the raw power emanating from this guy is just godly, almost. If anybody knows who Elminster is, he's fucking just immensely powerful.
Think 20 levels of mage, 6 or 7 levels of cleric, and a few levels of thief.
Some fighter in there too.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I think.
Fighter. I forgot the fighter. Sorry.
Yeah, I think he's an epic level. What'd you say? I didn't miss. I missed what you said. From what I statted him, he was like level 24 wizard.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but I think he's probably past that.
Well, you also have to remember. Yeah,
What?
he spent the cleric of Elmistra, and then a little while as a fighter and a thief.
Yeah, I read some of the books. I didn't read them all. I wish I had.
Making of a Mage is the best.
Yeah,
one.
That was a great one. So he says, "Well, deeds are already done." He says, "Now, guess we all have to figure out how to contain and hopefully imprison him again." He says, "But," he says, "we'll figure something out." He looks at Rusty. He says, "The curse can be lifted." He says,
"Oh, he's got Rusty's full attention now. He is not looking at the Aarakocra at all."
he says, "I don't believe we can." Says, "I don't believe your whole race can be saved." He says, "But worthy Kenku might be able to be saved." He says, "Keep your chin up." He says, "He says we can talk later." And he says, "I have to go talk to somebody real quick." And he says, "If you'll excuse me." Yeah, you're a Google person now. So he walks away and he's heading towards Kukuna. He goes over and he starts talking to her. Herschel's like, "Yep, that's some mighty people here today." He says, "Some shit's got to go down." He says, "But anyways," he says, "Come on." So you guys follow him through the hall or through the banquet hall. And a few minutes later, you hear this like chime go off, and somebody with a uses a magic to amplify the voice. "Will the delegates please meet in the conference room? We will begin shortly." And so you guys head into this huge, basically it's a big conference room. Okay. There's chairs all over the place and tables and stuff. And at the center of the room, on one side is obviously the Wolfen contingent. Then there's certain parts, and as the seats start filling in, you can definitely tell they're placed carefully as to not to offend anybody with anybody else's presence, stuff like that. So all the Underdark people stay on one side, and all the other people stay on one side, and everybody else kind of fills in. And the regent takes his seat, which is to the left of two other large chairs.
I would probably, at least in our party, and I would say from this point on, we have to be very careful about what we say.
Wait, Orin, quick question. If that guy, no, I'm whispering this. I'm whispering this because I don't know if it's right or not. But if that guy was the Elminster guy was super powerful, then why doesn't he just take this? Just why doesn't he fight the Smurf?
Because Destiny has us play out our roles, and it's not Elminster's role to defeat the Smurf for us.
But I mean, you're super powerful, but I'm not.
I was.
You were, and you can be again. Nothing stopping you, really.
Nothing stopping you either, except yourself.
You and your logic, man.
So I'll say again, be careful what you say around here. We may have moved on from the battlefields, but this is a different type of battlefield where the slip up can lead to our deaths still.
Herschel's like, yeah, watch your how you talk. And he says, please, Paloma, try not to interrupt anybody and speak on your turn only, please, okay?
Okay, I'll raise my hand.
He says, no, when it's your time to speak, they will address you.
Tell us when to speak.
Yeah. So, everybody comes in, two wolfen, a male and a female. Probably the most majestic looking wolfen that you've seen since you guys been here. Obviously, it's the alpha and the beta. Their version of king and queen, basically. They come in, and the alpha, she's if a wolfen can be amazingly beautiful, she is. She's perfect, and he is just huge. He looks very regal and powerful, and he exudes his own presence. And from the voice that you can hear is very deep and bassy, and she has kind of like a melodic kind of voice, but there's still an air of command about them too. So they come in, they all take their seat. The regent stands up. He says, we have asked you all here to convene in this council. He says, it's been a very long time since we've asked you all representatives. The Smurg has emerged again. And you hear whispers and like, shit like that all around the room. People start talking and stuff. And the regent has this like staff, and he taps it on the ground a couple times, and then everybody kind of hushes down. He says, at this time, we will have the account of what happened. So we call upon the four adventurers, Orn Faithus, Una Protego, Princess Paloma Windrunner, and Rustling Leaves. Please come forth.
I step up.
Me too.
Very warily.
I follow
Step
them up.
forward.
Okay, so
I
you guys
follow
all
them up and hide behind them.
you all move up. You see, there is a set of chairs there. The alpha, she says, please sit. He says, we'll talk to you one at a time. But I believe, Orn Faithus, you have been the sort of leader of the group. He says, can you please tell your account of how the Smurg was released, if you will, please?
Well, that's quite a long story, but to keep it as short as possible. We were selected as a group from an emissary of the city of Pantheway, from someone who calls herself Symbol. And we were forming a party to explore the eastern side of Pantheway, which is, as far as we know, is unexplored. And we took a something that I guess is now called a waygate, from what we know about them now. And something went wrong, and we were ejected to the far eastern side, where we met. After a few days of travel, we met with an elven tribe. And that tribe told us that in order for us to find our way back home, we needed to enter a temple. At this time, Paloma was not with us. And we heeded their advice, and we went into the temple. And we discovered some automatons guarding some sort of hidden entrance. And taking as our answers were in there, we went into the hidden entrance, and we found this. We opened the door and to see what was inside, and that's all it took. Whatever magics was guarding the door, or whatever traps were waiting for us, seemed to open the tomb on its own and release the Smurg.
So after you get done, one of the elves stand up. He says, "You meddle in forces you not know of. This is outrageous. These children," and from across the way, one of the Crocus stand up, sounding more kind of like an eagle. If an eagle can talk, he says, they did not know. Fate moved their hand. He says, this is not a time to bicker about who did what. The point is that he is released. And the dwarf stands up. He says, He says, well, it's time to put him back. He says, I'll not have him destroy my people like he did last time. And the elf's like, Master Dwarf. He says, King. He says, King Dwarf. He says, all of our people were decimated. He says, we are just now rebounding from that. He says, thousands of my kin were died. He says, thousands of my kin were died too. He says, it matters not. He says, he needs to be stopped. And Lord Kage stands up. He says, it matters not. He says, if he needs to be stopped, he needs to be stopped. He says, but I am only me. Say, I'm not the emperor, but he says, I speak for him. He says, whatever aid you need from my people, he says, we will lend it as much as we can. But remember that this Smurg, even though he is loose and I don't know where he's at, but I've heard stories of villages going mad. He says, even some of my villages in my province gone mad. He says, we must do something soon. And the alpha, she's like, well, so that's why we're here, to figure out what is the best course. She says, I was not alive when this Smurg was combated by my people and yours, everyone here. He says, I know not of him. All I know is the stories of what my sages tell me. He says, but I have asked a powerful ally and a dear friend of mine to tell us what he knows of him. She looks over to Elminster. He's like, well, my turn. So he stands up. He's like, well, he walks right in the middle of everything. He He says a Smurg is a interdimensional being of immense power. He says, I alone cannot defeat him. He says, I have a great well of power at my disposal. He says that I do not know where the Smurg comes from. He says, but and he takes a minute to look at everybody in the room. He says, be fearful. The Smurg, if he reaches his full power and we go to war, I fear for this whole world. He says, if we can stop him here and soon, that will be all to everybody's benefit. If not, well, you elves probably need to go back to your Feywild, and you Okroka go back to your Wind Plane, and the rest of us, well, better find a new world, because this Smurg will enslave us all. This is there's certain things that will need to be found again. He says the artifacts that were used to place him there once into his tomb need to be found. He says, obviously, he points towards Orn and the rest of you. This group here has already taken up some of this fight. They've met him. He looks at some of the scars you have. He says, I believe you've already tasted some of the power that he controls. He says,
At that point, I'll take off my gauntlets and show them my hands.
He says, yeah. He says, be wary of that. He says, anything that is connected to the Smurg needs to be cleansed. He says,
I nod to him.
Can I whisper to Orn? Just say, what about the book?
That's I lean over to her and I say that's something we can talk about later.
Okay.
the master says, hand me the book. Do you have it on you?
Oh.
I shake my head. It's not here right now.
He says, I would like to... Go ahead.
I say we had a recent encounter with thieves on the streets, and I deemed it unwise to be carrying it on my person.
This is fair enough. The Alpha looks at the Regency, says, make sure that they are adequately protected while in the city. He says, yes, Alpha. She says, you would be placed in better quarters if you so wish. I would deem it necessary if you are carrying artifacts that have the taint of him on it. She says, if you bring it to the temple, we will collectively try to cleanse this. Maybe it will show something. And if it can't be done here, there's only one other holy place that I know of that it can be done.
I'm going to put my gauntlets on, but then I'm going to kind of raise my hand.
She says, yes, Orn.
What of the Star Dragon?
Elminster lifts his eyebrow. He says, well, that that we'll have to figure out.
He says, well, if we're going to be becoming allies, we have something that may be useful to you if you think you can use it properly. And I'm going to reach into my satchel, belt pouch, and I'm going to pull out that 3,000-year-old map, the magical map.
Ah. He walks over. He says, "May I?"
I hand it over to him.
He says, "Ah." He says, "Well." He says, "That definitely does help." He says, "Ah." He calls the region over. The region is like, these cities, these predate the entombment. He says, this might help. You see the Alpha's like, what is it? He says, Alpha, this is a map dated. He looks at you, and he says, at least 3 millennia?
What you told us
3,000.
was 3,000 years. So yeah.
Okay. He says, at least 3 millennia ago. Shows he shows Lebosian and other cities that are not around anymore that had fallen during the war, right before the Smurg was entombed. She says, well, and this time the king, he speaks up. He says, if this is a military matter, then I will help. She looks over at him. She's like, well, you may need to in these places are in difficult areas to get to. He says, I'll take care of it. So, with that, the Alpha, she says, please take your seats. And the regent addresses the council or the group again. He says, now that we know how it happened and sort of some information of what the Smurg is, the next order of business is to see who will help, who is going to lend aid to this quest. The Croca stand up or kind of flap up in the air a little bit. We will help as much as we can. She says,
if I was asked to sit, I would stand up again.
well, when they talk?
When they're asking, when we are told to be seated and then stand up again to show our support or to do the task, I will stand up.
Okay. The Alpha looks at you. She says, I know, Orn. She says, please sit. Please sit. This is for them. She says, your involvement in this is, I believe, already faded. He says, we don't doubt you. She says, I understand.
I sit down.
The Dwarven King stands up. He says, he says, whatever you need, ask. The elves stand up. He says, well, this is the way it's going to be, and so be it. He says, we will aid. And one by one, they all come and pledge their aid to whatever it is, whether it's troops or, goods, armor, whatnot. You know, they all pledge what they're gonna pledge. You know what I mean? But they all say that things need to be moved along because they don't want to have another war that destroys all their people again. You know, normally what they're gonna say. Um, so with that, some arguing breaks out a little bit here and there, and of course the dwarves and the elves they kind of get into like a who's gonna pledge more kind of thing, and then
I pledge more than you can.
yeah, and then finally the dwarves are like, you can tell by then that they're just kind of saying shit to make the elves pledge more and more because they're just like, you know, they're all kind of laughing to themselves now. Finally, the elves stop seeing that they're being seen as to what's happening. Steve's not going to slap you in the face. Stop being mute, Sandra. I'm just playing. She says, well, the regent stands and he says, well, then we are adjourned. He says, we will send documents and everything of the compact as drawn up, and for everybody, says everybody can stay in the palace tonight if they wish, or whichever. There will be rooms available to you, and he says with that we are adjourned, and the regent taps his cane a couple times, and the doors open. People start filing out. The Dwarven King comes over to Orn. He steps in front of you. He's shorter than you are, but the presence is like massive. Dude is like as tall as you are. He is wide almost. You know, I mean, he's got to be the
square.
Yeah, he's got to be the biggest block of fucking short muscle that you've seen ever. And it almost looks like he looks at you almost like he's looking down at you almost. But he's not like mocking you or anything. He says, he looks at your sword and he says, can I see that?
You can. And I'll pull the long sword out and hand it to him.
He holds it in his hands. He says, aye. He looks over to her. He says, gimme.
Gimme.
No, that's the guy's name. He's like, gimme, have you seen one of these ones? He says, not in a while, my king. He says, I'm Anthara. He's like, where did you get it? He hands it back to you.
I actually have to get out one of my other maps. So I get out I can't really give that map away because that shows where all the temples are.
You can show them. I mean,
okay, yeah. I showed the map of the air temple, the one that the elves gave us, and I said there's a mountain southeast, and I pointed to him on the map. I said, but there's no way to get there except for digging. How I got there was through magic. The first time.
So him and like all the other 8 dwarves like just laugh. They're just like digging. Says, don't you know where parched stone? He says, we'll find it.
He says, well, that's where it is. I said, that's where it is.
He says, all right. He says,
I'll
thank
even
you.
lend you the map.
And that's how a territory war starts.
Well, the only things that were in there were feral goblins.
Goblins. He laughs. He says, I have goblins that work for me. He says, this side, you have ferals and you have ones that work for you. He says, I don't tell many people goblins work for me, but I have some sneaky ones that do stuff for me every once in a while.
I like your beard.
Oh, what is this toolbox that you have here? Oh,
Toolbox. What?
so, he's like, well, I like your skin.
Thanks. It's blue.
He's like, yeah. He's like, mine's this color.
Yeah, it's all right.
He's like, yeah. Are you like checking him out, or are you just talking to him?
No, I'm just fascinated. I'm just fascinated by his beard. It's
Okay.
like, whoa.
He's like giving you that eye, like he's like, damn, you're fine as fuck.
Oh no, I don't swing that way. I don't swing with dwarves.
The other dwarves are chuckling. He's like, I'm a king. You got no game.
King, you've got no game.
And he punches one of them in the face. He's like, shut up. He says, well, he says, if you ever need my help, let me know. And him and the other 8 boulders move away.
They seem nice.
The Krokra, they hover over, and they're looking. There's the 3 of them are looking at Rusty as they fly over.
They gave me back my sword, right?
Yeah. He gave you,
Sleight of hand, puts it in bag.
yeah.
Swords are like pens. to
Once
those
you go
people.
weird.
Put it in
Dude,
the
I'm
box.
gonna use that. I'm gonna use that next time I play What the Hell. That's awesome.
Do it. Do it.
Oh, that's a nice weapon. Puts it in his fucking chest pocket. Gone.
No, I made a new character called What the Hell. He's a dwarf. Oh, that's gonna be fun. Anyways, I have to him and Thorwhack will have to talk. The Kroka hover over to Rusty, and they land and they take a knee because I want to say they're fucking like 8 feet tall. I'm not really sure if they are or not. But in my mind,
they're significantly taller than Rusty. Rusty's
Huh?
small, even for
Okay.
Kenku.
okay, so they all come over and they kind of take a knee and they talk to you in Orin. They're like, "Why are you here, little brother?" This is
Rusty kind of shrugs. Pretty intimidated by them. They are what he wants to be.
they see his pain in his eyes, and they're like, "You wanna dance with the clouds with us?"
Nah, Rusty will kind of get a wistful look in his eyes and kind of start tearing a little.
He says, "Come." And they pull out this harness. It's just basically a harness to hook you to one of them, basically. And the bigger one of them, which I really don't know how tall they are, but to me, these guys are like fucking 8 and 10
they're
feet tall. You know, that's just the way I see them. You know,
Yeah.
actually, I'll find that right now.
That one's half Goliath.
They don't really say how big they are. Just says medium humanoid.
Yeah,
Well-
so they're average.
So for Chapo's game, they're fucking tall as shit. I don't give a shit. So they're like this guy. He's like 10 feet tall, and the other
They're
two are
about
like
5 feet tall, according
No.
to the rules. 5 feet and between 80 and 100 pounds.
all right. So this guy is like,
Average.
Steve. His hand is itching. I'm just playing. All right. Yeah, so this guy, he's actually 10 feet tall, and the other two are about between 7 and 8 feet tall. and he straps fucking Rusty to him. He's like, "Let's go," and they fly out the room fast as fuck. They fly straight out the hall, and some of the wolfen are like, "Hey, no fucking flying in the palace and shit," but they just fly out the door. And before they take off, the tall one tells you all in common. He says, "We'll be back." Uh,
Just make sure you don't drop them.
oh no!
Then I start laughing at
Rusty
the
ever
joke.
was.
Yeah. So Rusty, you fly out with these 3 Croca, and fucking it's kind of like you're getting that same feeling you did in the fucking Wind Temple. But now you're actually flying, and within like a minute you are up in the fucking clouds and shit. And he's like, "What do you want to do?" Like, what do you want to do? You just want to fly? You want to fucking dive? You want to loop to loop?
Dive. All
right.
dive. Speed.
All right.
Speed.
Speed.
He says, "All right." He says, so let's race to thunder. And he flaps his wing a couple times up, and he just dives. And he's probably, they're probably up about 30,000 feet, where the clouds are. And so within a few seconds, you guys are hitting like terminal velocity, and your fucking eyes are like watering because you're not used to flying this fast or flying at all. But the ground is just fucking hurling towards you, and you can fucking you can put out your arms, and he puts his arms to his sides because he's just diving. But once they get to about 1,000 feet, they start leveling off. But they're leveling off to a point where they're going to skim the lake. So they're only about a foot off the lake and stuff. And you can feel the mist, wetting your feathers and shit. And, they fly
Rusty's
back up.
just happy.
Yeah. So, and they do that a couple more times or however long, so you guys go flying for like, I don't know, 2 hours or something.
So on the second time that they go to dive again, just as he comes over the top, Rusty unbuckles and is trying to fly himself.
Okay. He lets you fall. They just fall next to you, or they fly next to you, and they're smiling real big. They're like, "Yes, brother, yes!" And they fucking dive next to you, but they do catch you right before. And
before I turn into a big Rusty fan.
Yeah, he kind of bear hugs you as he levels out. He says, he says again. So,
huge nod, lots of nods.
All right, so you guys do that for like a couple hours, So Rusty takes off with these fucking 3 Croca, and you're left there with Elminster and the Alpha. She walks over, and she's like, she says, "Orn," she says, "we do not blame you for what happened, releasing the Smurg." She says, "But we are fearful for the artifact that you hold. This is artifacts that this being leaves tend to permeate evil."
Yes, I'm well aware.
She says, "The sooner you can bring this book, to the temple, and we try to cleanse it, or at least contain the evil that emanates off it, the better." And she says,
I will do so, but I would like to have the company of Elminster with me before I do so.
She's like, oh, that's fine. I'm sure he has questions and other things to do with you. But she says, I must go. Duties. She kind of frowns a little bit.
Oh, wait. Miss Alpha. I'll bow. Say, hi. I'm Princess Paloma of the Wushu tribe to the east. Hi. Just a quick question. Are we an official adventuring party of Labosian?
So, well, at this particular time, I believe you're official venturing party of Airwood. But if you
Does
so
that
wish
mean that we get a cool name?
She laughs. She says, well, I'll leave that to you to decide.
Here we go.
She says, if you want a T-shirt or something like that, we can arrange that. She laughs.
We have branding, guys.
Yeah, she comes over and
We got sponsors.
She puts her hands around your face, which her hands are enormous, anyways. She kisses you on your forehead. She says, "Have fun." And she says, "I must leave." Maybe you get bomber jackets, huh? With a crocus with bombs strapped to them. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh my God, that's so Jubei right there. You guys are fucked. All right, so
we gotta ask Jubei. Come on, we gotta.
We're gonna be going into our next Jubei game, and we're gonna be having Jubei outfits.
Oh yeah.
We're already having
would be
cloaks
nice.
of rejuvenation with like Jubei's face in the back.
That's right. That's right. You do have that on, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't.
So
I'm the only one.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah. Elminster is looking at it. He says, he looks at it and he's like, Jubei?
Yeah.
He says, that is a funny bean.
I have to confess, it's a smart idea. Advertising.
It's really nice.
He's not advertising. He's just fucking with you guys.
Even if it wasn't, it's still good advertisement.
Yeah, well, Jubei seems to do what he wants to do. I don't bug him because he normally has no malice behind his juvenations or whatever he calls them. But he does do good things, even though they are performed in extravagant and weird manners. He says, what questions you got?
I'll ask you them when we arrive at our room, because I think you'll want to see everything yourself firsthand before we take it to the temple.
He says, all right. He says, well, let's get going. He waves his hand
and Yuna and Paloma. I say, you two have fun and try to sort out the living arrangements. We're gonna be moving from that inn to wherever we're living next.
Yeah. So he waves his hand. The door opens. He says, and you see your room. He says, why don't you go ahead and grab it real quick? I'll keep the door open.
All right. It's pretty fucking heavy shit because it's in my chest.
Well, you're a strapping young lad, and he kind of smacks you in the back. Get on with it.
I jump through the portal.
All right.
And I just heave my chest and strap it onto my back.
He says, you really should get a bag of holding for all that crap.
He says,
"Oh, we have one."
Yeah, I had one. Then I gave it to somebody because I care for them.
Oh, okay.
And I come back through the portal.
All right. He closes the door. He says, well, he says, I guess the temple, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So he waves his hand again, and there's the temple. Yes.
And
Yes,
she's
you did.
triggered. She's so
Yes, you
triggered.
did, Sandra. Yes, you did.
I'm gonna go through the portal before I get my
I'm
head
an
ripped
independent woman who don't need no man. Even though I'm engaged, sweetie, I still want our marriage to happen.
Uh,
I'm gonna step through the portal now before I get my head chewed off.
okay.
I recommend everyone nearby to give her lots of wine.
Talk, Sandra.
Can you just unmute me? What the fuck? I feel insulted. That was my privacy right there. Okay. What am I? What?
I don't know. You haven't heard your
Like a
voice
normal
in a while?
person who plays D&D.
Yes.
She mutes herself again. God damn it.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going shopping again. And if we're going shopping, if we get the opportunity, then we'll go and look for more and better shit.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, I kind of wanted to stay at the party if it was going to last a little longer.
Yeah, I really don't care too much for like those official ceremonies.
Oh god, I have to do all the politics by myself now.
It only like you walked away. You walked away. You
To
said
be
like
fair,
you
I'm
go with Princess Paloma. Okay, then we'll go shopping.
trying
All right.
forward.
So Celeste comes over to Paloma and Sandra. I mean, Yuna. She's like, "Hey, girls. I hear.
Hi, Celeste.
Hey."
Hey,
She
how are
says,
you?
Not too bad. So I hear you guys are getting some new apartments, huh?
Yes, that sounds like it.
Okay. She
We
says,
don't know
"Well,"
where, though.
she's like, "Come on, we'll find them." So
Oh, that's cool.
she walks down a hall to where the regent is, and she says, "Gerald." She says, "Yes, Celeste." So they're supposed to get apartments, right? He's like, "Yeah, I believe so." He says, "Why don't you go talk to Robert?" He says, "Okay, all right. I know where. I think I know where he is. He kind of moves around a lot, so we might have to track him down." She's like, "Come on." So you
As we're
guys.
walking, I'm gonna be eyeing for cute boys.
Oh yeah. There's plenty. All right. So what race are we looking for here? Because there's a little bit of everything.
Something fun, something different.
All right. So there's this huge blue Goliath that looks.
Oh, okay, not that different.
Orc.
Stay in my size.
Okay.
Like elves, drows, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Humans,
Well, you see this one. You see this one drow looking at you. He's got purple eyes. Well, he's probably the prettier of all of them there. And he
Does he
waves
look all
at you.
fancy?
Oh well, yeah. He looks like a drow, but he's dressed nice. And next to him, he's this other drow with this wide brim hat, this long feather in it, and an eye patch. He's kind of dressed like a swashbuckler. And they kind of talk to each other a little bit here and there. And so
I'll give him a smile.
they both walk over, and the one with the wide brim hat, when he walks, his boots just make a really loud thump sound, like it's audibly like making what his boots would sound walking louder. And everybody's like noticing him, and he's just strutting his ass over there. He says, "Hello." He says, "I am Jarl Axel. This is Zachnafine."
Wait, repeat.
Huh?
Type that.
Oh.
Just because I've got it all written down. There's a lot of important people. Oh
Sure.
god, yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that. Jarl Axel and Zachnafine.
Yeah.
Jarlaxle's the one with the hat, right?
Yeah. Zactavine is the one. And
He's looking at me.
Yeah,
Well-
go ahead.
Well, we'll definitely instinctively stand in front of Paloma.
Jarlax is my dear. He says we won't take advantage of this young, beautiful lady.
Yeah, they're not gonna take advantage of a young, beautiful lady, Una. Come on.
Paloma, be quiet. This
Uh-huh.
is
He says,
Oh,
anyways, I think my friend here is interested in her. I'm more into beautiful women like you.
oh
She's
no.
engaged.
no. This is not how we do not play this, and you don't want to play
He
this.
puts out his hand. He puts out his left hand for yours.
No, he does not.
He does.
I'll push him back.
Did
Oh.
you know?
I
You won't. Okay.
do not touch me.
He says he puts his hands up in a shrugging his shoulders. He's like, "That's fine." He smiles real big. He's a very, very charismatic elf or drow. And the other one, he walks around. He says, "Hello, princess." He puts out his hand for yours.
Just out of character or information or whatever, it would only make sense because last night she was about to be robbed. So two people coming up is not like,
Yeah, but
rather be safe than sorry. So
Remember, these are royalty. They're in the palace.
they're drows.
So I don't even know what that means.
he's like, "My dear," he says, "just because we're drows doesn't mean that we're all evil. This is a whole new time." He says, my people are up in the surface now, doing good and bad things. He says, "We're trying to change the outlook on our people."
Just rest assured that I'm watching you. One wrong move and you're out.
He
Oh.
says,
God.
It's like my mom.
Yes.
"Hey,
Well,
Stop
made-
blocking me.
Alex, you know who those two are, right?
Who?
You know who these two are, right?
No.
You've never read any of the. Okay, never mind.
No, I don't. I don't read. I've read 2 books, and 2 of them are children's books.
What?
Has anybody read any of the Forgotten Realms Drizzt books?
No.
Yes. See, Brendan knows. You know who these two are, right?
Yeah, Jaraxle's a kind of a spy. He runs a mercenary company, but he also deals in information trading. And Zach Nafine is almost the best swordsman ever. Just the best swordsman ever you'll ever meet. Ever.
Well, I'm still not going to change my mind.
Jaraxle's chaotic neutral, doesn't have loyalties per se, and Zach Nafine is more lawful good, just kind of go along to get along.
Yeah. Anyways, Zach Nafine is he's just really like, "Hey, how are you? You are very beautiful. Would you care to dance?"
But there's no music. It's
He
so
says-
weird.
He says, "The only music that I hear is when I look at you."
Oh, he's such a dreamboat! Una, did you hear that?
She just shakes her head.
He's like, "Your beauty is like a symphony." He says, "Please."
Vomits.
He says, "May I have this dance?"
Okay.
All right, so he starts humming, and he can hum really good.
Oh, he's a hummer.
Well, he hums and sings
Una will not let him out of her eyes like for 1 second.
Right. He
Neither
rolled.
will Paloma.
He rolled an 18 on performance, so he's singing really good and humming this beautiful song about clouds and this woman and man that meet, and they start dancing in the clouds, and there's blah 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 and all sort of shit, and it's just like the most intriguing song that you've heard in such a long time. And he's out of all the elves that you see, he's probably the most handsomest. He looks like he's perfect. He's all chiseled and stuff, and his clothes are impeccable, and his sword is beautiful. But
His one sword is beautiful.
no, he only uses one sword. He uses a long sword. That's all he uses.
So do I.
God, Sandra gets it.
I got what you're saying. He's like,
I always get those.
he laughs. He's like, I understood that too.
No, you don't.
No, you don't, because that's out of character. This is us being immature.
That's right.
Dirty bitches. No. So, yeah, he dances with you, and he's like, can we? He says, can we walk in the garden? In the moonlight?
Right now?
He says, yes. Says, I guarantee your safety. Nothing more.
Me too.
I'm not worried about that. I feel very protected right now. With Yuna just watching me like a hawk, and you just in with your arms, and but don't we have to go somewhere?
Yep, we have to go right now.
Right now?
Yes.
Inside check?
Yes, we have to go right now.
Natural one?
He says, it's a pity. He says, can I call on you later?
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Ooh, I gotta go right now. I'll be somewhere. We have an apartment now. That's cool.
Don't do it. Don't tell. Don't tell.
I
me.
don't know where our apartment is. That's where we're going to find out.
I'm really happy that you don't.
He says, how about this? Can we meet for breakfast?
Yes.
He says, we can have a day in the market.
Yes. I love shopping.
You don't know what that means. It's a
day
trap.
in the-
No, it's a trap.
No, it's
Alright,
breakfast
so-
and a day at the market. Okay.
Yeah, so Celeste finally comes back over. She's like, all right, I found him. Come on, let's go. She looks at Zachnamine. She says, they're gonna want to duel with you, right? He's like, I know. He says, but what can you do?
Yeah, Celeste, do you know that guy?
He says, oh yeah, that's Zachnamine. He's probably
What's he like?
He's a really good Drow. As far as Drows go, he's probably the only normal one besides he's probably the only normal one that I've ever met. Jarlaxle, well, he's kind of a swashbuckler kind of sort of, but he's all right. He's all about the money. But she says Zachnamine, he's a good person.
See, Yuna, there's nothing to be worried about.
I hope you didn't promise him breakfast or anything.
Oh, that's exactly what I did.
But she says, girl, he is fine as fuck.
I know, right?
She says, this girl that I knew last time he came out, they had a time together, and she's like, that girl was floating on clouds afterwards. Oh my girl.
You see, the thing is, I can actually float on clouds, which is something that is awesome. Maybe I'll float even higher than that.
Oh, that's cool, because he can levitate too. You know that, right?
What? We can dance in the sky!
Like, he looks at you, and he, like, lifts
Time to go, Paloma. Time to go. What are you doing? We have to go now.
She'll just be waving. She'll levitate a little bit, and then she'll just wave. back at Zachary.
You see, he's like giving you the eye. He's like, oh, like he just, his shirt is like thumping out. Like, oh my god. Anyways,
Something else.
Jarlaxle grabs his sword. He's like, come on. And they
Just drag me as I'm levitating. Bye.
Anyways, so Celeste's like, come on, I found you. So about 5-10 minutes later, you guys get to the royal apartments. They're just apartments that they set aside for guests and stuff like that.
Oh wait, in the palace?
Yeah, well, you're within the walls of the palace.
Oh,
But the palace is ginormous too. It's it's like its own little city within the city itself too. But you guys each have your own little apartment. Well, Orn and Yuna, you guys can share one, obviously. But you get your own place, Paloma, and Rusty doesn't know yet about the thing because he's out still flying. But when he gets back, he can either get his own place or roost up in someone else's house. I don't know. Jerry,
I'm at the temple, so
yeah,
I don't know about it either.
So, but yeah, you guys find the apartments, and you guys spend the next, I don't know, couple hours just looking through all the shit, all the nice stuff that's there, the soaps, and taking a bath or whatever else you guys want to do. So, anyways, so Orn,
You're not going out with that prick.
He's not a prick. He's a very nice drow. Did you see? He could dance and he can sing. He's got those eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And the hat one looked really nice.
You know, the eyes that like kind of looked into every woman's eyes in whole emotion.
But I love him.
But I love him.
No, this is not how this. You just met this guy. How can you say that?
I mean, haven't you heard of love at first sight? Come on, it's in like every storybook that I've read.
That, like, I have seen a lot of things in my life, but that was not love at first sight.
Isn't that
You
what
just don't
happened to you,
understand our love.
Orn?
Yeah, isn't that what happened to
With
you
the-
and Orn?
That was different.
Tell me, please. Tell me, enlighten me. And she sits cross-legged as she's floating in the air. Please enlighten me.
First of all, we didn't just like run into each other and then like realize we're in love. That's not how it happened. We actually fought each other to unconsciousness twice, 3 times.
That's a horrible first date.
No, that wasn't a first date.
Traumatic as fuck. I used my lay on hands and everything.
Yeah, like that was not our. We didn't even have a first date, really. So that it just happens. Like it takes time to. You gotta.
And how were you guys like a couple?
What?
And how were you guys like knowing that like, oh, we're a couple now? This is a thing. You guys gotta have a date first.
Yes, it takes time to get like to know the other person and to get to know their flaws and their good things too. And then at one point you can feel it, but not like in the first second just because he's humming a nice song to you. It's not happening.
Well, I learned some very good things about him today. He can sing, he can dance,
What's his last
he
name?
looks good.
What's his last name?
Drow.
No, that's his race. Where did he grow up?
The Underdark.
Do
I'm
you
assuming.
really know this?
No, I know they're from the Underdark because Orn said so.
Okay, is he?
I
Was he ever
assume.
married? Does he have kids?
Well,
No.
Celeste said that he was.
You don't
there was
know
another girl.
him.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, he does have one child, but you guys wouldn't know that.
Yep.
I don't know that he has a child.
So maybe you just need like a little bit of time to get to know him, if at all, if that actually happens and he doesn't run away
Oh,
tomorrow.
that's right. Is it Breeza? I think it's Drizzt and Breeza, I think.
Tristan Breeza.
One of them, I didn't care about the sister. She
Yeah.
was the only one that had a little bit of a heart.
No, that was Vierna. That's the sister. I read the books a bunch of times. So, but the author, he does
Yeah, it's been years.
amazing fucking sword writing as far as like describing it. Anyways,
Yeah, that's the end of the story.
yeah.
You got to give yourself time.
Well, that's what we're gonna do tomorrow over breakfast and shopping.
So, anyways, Orn, you and Elminster wade into the temple, and you're greeted by a pair of priestess, and they bow to Elminster, like we're like, Father Magic, what can we do for you? He says, my friend here has a book that, excuse me, he burps. You know, he's like, sorry. He says,
Well, cheese.
yeah. He says that is linked to the smirk, and their eyes go big and like. She says, she looks at one of them looks at the other one. And she says, "Go get the mother." And
Before we get too far with this book, there
Okay.
are other objects I want you to help me identify. We found them, but I'm not really sure what kind of purpose they serve.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna drop my backpack, take the chest out of it, open up the chest, reach in the far back fucking corner of the chest, and pull out this sack, which has the book in it, which I put on the chest after closing it, and then I pull out the teeth, the bones, and the jar with the eyeballs in them.
He says, "Well, that's a little disturbing."
He says, and I answer and I say, what's more disturbing is that these eyeballs always look to wherever Yuna is. And from what you can tell, I've already peered into the book once, and I think that these eyes, and perhaps even the rest of him, are tied to, I think these are parts of him. But I don't know why the Smurg would pick him and use him as what I think might be a host, but I'm not sure.
This is well, I need some help with. Why don't I do? He says, "Hold on a second." He's like, "Come on, bring it with you."
Okay.
You go inside. It's a beautiful temple. It's dedicated to a lot of the good deities. They all have their own little spot. But there's one main shrine to whatever god I haven't decided yet. That the Wolfen mainly worship. But anyways, the mother, which is the head priestess there, she comes over. She says, "Father Magic." She says, she's like, "What are these?" And she looks. She's like, "Oh, sure." She's like, "That's disturbing." The eyeballs, like, she like picks up the jar and she moves it, and the eyes actually move and stay fixated on a point. She's like, "That's very disturbing."
Yes, just imagine having to sleep near them.
He says, "You have bigger balls than I do." She says, "Well, bring it into the cleansing chamber." So she takes you towards the back, you and Elminster and all your goodies. You get into this 20 by 30-foot room. And there's magic runes. You can feel the power of the runes and stuff emanating from the walls and everything. It's warded immensely in here. You just you can try and pick the wards off, but you just feel layers and layers and stuff. And there's a huge there's a huge like summoning circle in one part, and you're pretty sure some of these are used to call like other beings of other planes, and keep them in place if that's what they need to do or whatever, and everything is inlaid with like gold and silver to make sure that these things are like won't be able to break free of them, stuff like that. They don't fuck around with their summoning circles or whatever it is and shit. And she says, well, she says, let me see. She says, what do you want me to try and figure out first? And Elmister's like, well, the body parts are a big concern to my friend here. Can you please? She says, okay. So
I don't know what can be saved from him. I think that there's a part of the smurg that still belongs to this child's soul, and I don't know what kind of importance these objects might have to that end.
Oh, okay. She says, well, let's find out. Hopefully. And she kind of gives like a nervous laugh. She looks at one of the priests. She says, bring all the older sisters in now. And so she heads out, and excuse me, about 10 minutes later, these other priestesses start coming in, and you can see that they're in varied like hierarchy. You can tell that they're older, but they're more powerful than some of the regular priestesses and stuff here. And they all kind of get in a circle in certain spots, and they all start casting a spell together in unison, and even Ilminster helps in with it. And basically, they're trying to divine about the body parts, not the book, just the eyes and the teeth and the bones.
Thank God, because that would have fucking killed them all.
Yeah. Yeah, she notices the book, and she's like, we're not gonna touch that right now. She's like, this right here is probably just enough. She says, she's like, she actually touched the book with her fingers, and she pulled it back like almost immediately. She's like, I can't handle that. She says, that right there automatically. She's like, no. She says, we have a place to put that if you want to keep it safe. She says, but I'm not. She says, we'll deal with this right here. So they cast, they're doing like a ritual. It takes probably about half an hour of them just doing it, and more and more. And finally, like the eyes, the jar bursts and the eyes float, and the teeth move up to where the teeth would be like if it was a body, and the bones float over to certain spots where they are. And this like ethereal like body like starts forming.
I'm actually not going to take any risks. I'm going to cast protection from good and evil on myself.
Yeah.
Because if this somehow goes really far backwards, and I don't want to get possessed.
I'm drawing some.
What's your brother's name, Tim?
Hmm?
What's the brother's name?
Oh, Fuck.
Caleb.
Caleb. Don't possess me, bro.
I really like this name for some reason.
What eyes? What color are your eyes, you know?
I think they're blue. They are actually, yeah, they're blue.
Oh my god. This is gonna be one trippy experience.
Rip.
I
You
know,
be
dealing
quiet,
with-
young lady.
I
I
know,
didn't
guys-
say anything.
Okay. Getting there. You know, I have to draw shit for you guys. So this is what
No.
you see. This is the body parts that's left, and the eyes are like looking at you guys, and the body, of course,
It's just him there, though, right?
Yeah, but like there's more people.
Yeah,
Oh,
me and the party is just as like I'm the only party member there. There's other people there.
speaking of party, we gotta come up with that party name. Just saying, just putting that out there. Okay, food for thought. Okay, bye.
Anyways,
I already got it. We're gonna call ourselves the Platinum Wings.
Anyways,
Oh, that's good.
that's what it looks like.
Flying, because everyone's gonna do with flying.
Basically.
Well,
Rusty wants to fly. Both of you guys want wings. I basically am air. It only makes sense.
I'm only gonna learn the fly spell so I can cast on my mountain and I can have a fucking warhorse Pegasus.
Oh, that's awesome.
That sounds pretty cool. There you go. That's what it looks like. Anyways,
That's cool.
thanks. All right. So that's what the dude looks like, and so, the mother looks up and she says, "Who are you?" And it says, "We are him. I'm so glad you wanted to talk." It says, "Come closer." And you see the mother is like visibly like shaking, like like she's like fucking having a fucking epilepsy moment, and she's like fighting. And it's like, "Come closer," and fucking these black tendrils start whipping out towards her, and you see and Elmoster's like, "All right, we gotta stop this," and fucking he starts casting a spell, and it looks over at Elmoster, and he's like, "No, you can't do that." And like some of the tendrils start like flapping towards him, and he's like, "God damn it!" And you see like beads of sweat are starting to kind of form on his brow, but he's fighting through whatever it is. And finally, he casts something, and fucking just this huge maelstrom of like white, like energy starts forming above it, and it starts coalescing around it, and it starts screaming this fucking like horrible ass like scream, and it's like, "He's mine, you can't have him." And fucking the mother is sucked into the vortex, and he grabs her, and she implodes inside out, and he
Can I on the off chance cast Sanctuary on her?
You could try.
It's a pretty fucking wimpy save because I'm not that as charismatic as I'd like my character to be right now.
Mhm.
He has to beat a DC 13, or else, and if he fails, then he can't attack her for the round.
You did pretty good.
Fuck.
He had a +10, and he rolled a 2. So okay.
Yes, I saved her.
So she starts lurching forward, and then she settles back down after you cast your spell. So and then he dissipates. And everybody in the room, all of the other priestess have got blood dripping out their eyes, and they're all sweating, and they're holding their heads and shit. And the mother, her eyes rolled back up in her head, and she fucking plopped down. I mean, Elminster fucking took a seat. He's like, holy fuck.
Yeah. I'm going to take that cue and run around and start using my lay on hands on people.
Okay. So you start healing them, and the ones you heal get up and start doing the same thing, and eventually everybody is better, but they're all freaked the fuck out. And eventually, about 10 minutes later, the mother comes to. She wakes up and she's screaming, ah! Ah! And Elminster walks over and like smacks. She's like, wake up, bitch! And she stops and looks up and she's like, oh, great divine. She's like, I felt as if he was reaching in my soul, and she's like, the body parts are something that the body that he inhibits is connected to these things. He says, they're tethered to him. She's like, I saw it. They're like these blacker than black tendrils were just connected to him, and there was a black tendril that just. She says, I have never seen anything that powerful. So it was just fighting through the wards to try and get out. So I'm glad you were here to stop it, because if he would have got out, I think the Smirk would end up here. She says, these things need to be destroyed. See, these are part of him. She says, I think this would weaken him, maybe. We could destroy him.
Could we not use them to locate the rest?
She says, yeah. But the rest is with the Smirk, is his body. This is like, she says, I saw it when the Smirk ripped through the fabric of everything and reached out and consumed this child. It took its body, and when it happened, the body regurgitated itself, if you can understand that.
Nope. As a matter of fact, I can't. What does that mean?
It means like.
Sorry.
Have you seen basically like Resident Evil?
Which
Or
one?
like when any of them, basically when they get infected, like they start like bubbling out and like gaining new mass.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
Yeah. Nice.
It's basically he was throwing himself up. All of his innards were coming out of him. He was turning inside out, basically. Okay. When he took it over, the body did that, and then he took what he needed and made himself a body out of what he wanted, and he left the eyes and the teeth and all that shit. Whatever's left there that you saw is what's left that he didn't take, but it's still tethered to him. kind of like pieces of him in a way. So whoever tries to use it or tap into it, eventually he ends up finding it. He doesn't seem to absorb it back into his body. It leaves him. I think she says, I think he leaves this out because if he absorbs the whole body, then the soul that he uses, which is a child, would be able to try and fight back, even though he would not have a chance because of the overwhelming will and evil of it. But even the slightest chance would be there. She says, I think he would have to be whole. For you guys would have to make his body whole again and be able to attack his soul, which is the child soul, which is what he's using to be here. If that makes sense.
Yes, that does make sense.
And in order to kill his soul, that's when you would need, I don't know, whatever it is. I think she's like, I can't think right now because I've just had that shit in my head, and he was trying to eat me.
Yes.
That's what
I
she said.
guess maybe he wasn't expecting it, but you're lucky the helmet protected you there.
Yeah.
I'll try to like scavenge the body parts into the black bag.
Yeah, they go back. I mean, you pick them back up.
And
Except for the eyeballs are back on the ground now. And they drag themselves back to which way Yuna is.
I picked them up and I put them in the bag. Gross.
Yeah, they're a little slimy.
I make sure the bag is nice and tight so they don't like force themselves out.
Yeah, when you touch them, these like little hair follicle kind of white hair follicle things like attach themselves to your hands, kind of sort of like to hold on to. And you have to like physically like snap your hand for you to
Get rid of them.
like get them off of you. Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
Yeah, so
Elma's just like, yeah, that's not really good right there. He says, well, he looks at the priestess. He's like, where's this temple that they would have to go to? She's like, well, that's the thing. They would have to find it. It's not a temple that we know where it's at. It's a hidden temple for a reason. Only great need will bring it. Well, you guys are gonna have to find it. She's like, we have clues how to find it, but to find it yourself, we don't have a place on the map where you can find it. So you'll have to search for it. She says, if you destroy these parts there, or you find a way. She says you can do two things basically. From what I see, you could destroy these parts, and it will weaken him, or you can find a way to make him whole again, and you may have a better chance of killing him, or at least sending him out of this body and back into whatever place he comes from. It'd be a lot easier to banish him if he was whole, instead of, this is like, right now, all you're really be able to do is just destroy the body that he's using, but eventually it's gonna reemerge somewhere, or it's gonna come back together. She's like, it's kind of like a more powerful version of how a lich does their thing. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you know how liches they can come back and stuff. Well, this is kind of like how that, but it's just a more powerful kind of version. In
We're
a way.
supposed to beat that.
Oh.
Yes, Alex.
Um,
You're supposed to punch it.
I'll punch it with all my strength.
There you go.
Well, I have my oaths to uphold, so we will savor them for now.
Mm-hmm. He's like, here.
And of course, I leave the black sack of and the book to the mother to put in the safekeeping.
Yeah. She says, you can leave the body parts here too if you wish.
Yeah.
She's like, we have a place for that. So, she takes you and Elminster and a contingent of the priestess down deeper into the temple, down to the catacombs, kind of, sort of. And they get down there, and there's, you see a couple priestesses move forward, and they beat back a zombie or two that have risen up. She's like, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. You know, dead bodies, blah, 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 blah. You know. But the priestess, they make short order of the zombies. They're done within like a second or two. But she goes over to this big, like, bound, heavy door. And she starts casting a spell. And she puts both hands on the door in these little spots that are made for hands. And the door opens up. And on the inside, there's just a huge collection of like artifacts and a bunch of other shit in there. And you can feel the waves of like bad and good shit in here. You know what I mean? There's just a ton of shit that's like evil and good. And this is like their vault, whatever, you know. There's so much crap in here, it kind of evens itself out and stuff, you know. She's like, come on. She walks through and she goes to the back of it where there's another door, and she casts a spell and opens it up. On this one, there's like, it's really bright in there, but you can feel like the divine energy wafting out of there. She puts the body parts in the book in there, and you can almost hear like the sizzling of the book and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like it's being subjected to like radiant energy and stuff. But it's just like smoking, shit like that. You know, she closes it up. She casts a spell back, and it, you know, does its thing. She says, "Okay." She says, "Well, it's surrounded by divine energy, and hopefully, that'll keep it there. If not, well, you'll come back, and the nine hells will be let loose." She like laughs, like really, like, you know, yeah.
Guess that's funny in these parts.
Yeah, she's like, well, you know, she's like, all these things here, as much bad and as much good and evil that's in this vault, they kind of even each other out. Only do we put the most evil shit in there before we have a chance to destroy it. We try and bombard it with divine energy before we take it up there and destroy it. She says that once you find the temple, we'll find a way to get this to you. She says, until then, it'll be here safe.
Yeah, we'll need to learn of those riddles as soon as possible in order to get our search on the way.
Okay. She's like, I'll gather all the information and I'll have it for you by tomorrow. I have to find it all. And it's going to take me and the sisters probably throughout the night to find everything for you.
And don't rush yourself. You you had a brush with a fate worse than death, so don't hurt yourself over it.
She's like, yeah, I kind of feel like a donut. All right, so the minister's okay. Well, let's head back and you can rest, and they'll send word to you when they have everything, I guess. So,
I'm gonna get back and then I have to deal with this small ass drama at home.
so
I didn't hear that.
he ports you guys back over to right around the area where the apartments are. Just about the same time that
Just about the same time that the other two get there? Or hello?
Yeah, I think it cut out.
Or did you DC?
Maybe.
Beep. Beep.
Same time that Rusty comes flying in like a boss.
Flying in like a boss at the back like a boss.
So
Alright, I got a boyfriend!
all right. What's his
Don't.
name?
Oh, his name is Zachnafine.
It sounds like a drow name.
It is a drow.
That's a very good guess!
It is a drow.
All right, well, good for you.
Yuna's really against it.
Well, they do have quite a notorious reputation.
Why does everyone hate on drows?
I
haven't even known them until today.
Well, let me give you a quick rundown. Almost all of them are forced into a subservience to their god Loth, who is tasked to rule over all of their own race on top of all of other races with pain and suffering and fear. And if you don't obey her, then you are sacrificed to her. And if you are any other race besides drow, and specifically female, then odds are you're also going to get sacrificed to her. They are very deceitful people who don't really, well, at least where I'm from, they are very deceitful people who almost thrive on the suffering of others.
I tried to warn her, and she simply wouldn't listen. It's incredible.
Well, I mean, I would assume that the people of this piety and good gods, and with such security, wouldn't let any drow in here. So
no, silly, it's not. No, it's not about only the fact that he's a drow. It's about the fact that she already told him she's in love with him, and
I didn't say anything like that.
She danced with him like 10 minutes.
So that doesn't mean I'm in love with him. I just danced with him.
Have you ever had a boyfriend? I'm just saying, take a little bit of time before you get disappointed.
There was this boy in the tribe. He was kind of obsessed with me. I wasn't into it, but I did give him a kiss in the cheek. That's it. But yeah, we haven't talked since. There was a really awkward moment between us.
You gotta help me out here. I'm really trying. I think I think it's no use.
Yes.
He seems nice enough.
I don't know. Have you tried knocking him unconscious?
Well, what?
Well,
It did work for us.
yeah. I don't know. Your tribe is very dependent on strong warriors, right?
Yeah.
So it would make sense that if you were to have a partner, you would need him to also be quite strong.
No,
Well,
you're
I heard
going
that he
to
was
the
like
wrong
a
direction
legend.
with this.
Yeah, I heard that he was like a legendary warrior, so I think that's a check off the list.
No.
Well,
That is
no,
not where we want her to go. No.
What? I don't understand what you want from me.
She is not ready for this. Clearly.
What do you mean? I am a princess, Yuna.
Yes, you are. And this is why you shouldn't give away yourself and your body just like that, just because you saw some beautiful eyes.
I'm not giving him my body.
Well, if you're going to have breakfast with him, girl, you're going to have to give him your body.
Wait, what?
It's breakfast. We're gonna eat like eggs and bacon.
So, clearly I'm getting the wrong messages that everyone else is sending.
I don't know what messages Yuna's sending.
I am not
can
going
tell
to
you
have
that.
a talk with you right now. This is not a good time for the talk.
I don't even know what the talk is.
Okay.
Orn, you can handle this.
Okay, yeah, you go to which one's our room?
Over there.
Okay. I'll handle this. You can just, I don't know, get ready or something.
Oh. Sure, yeah, I forgot I had to get ready.
I have some things to tell you. So you might want to go get comfortable first.
I am going away for this.
Okay.
Because this is a mommy, dad, like not mommy, daddy, daughter, daddy thing. So you do this.
I'm not her dad.
You're not my dad.
But kind of. Go.
Alright.